This is your mom's favorite show, Beer and Chill podcast. My name is Jan,
And I'm Craig.
and we would really appreciate if you would stop by and listen to our show. We are talking about interesting facts about your favorite movies, games, and TV shows.
For example, did you know that Christopher Lee and Ian McKellen had a real-life beef because Christopher Lee wanted to play Gandalf in Lord of the Rings?
And many other great facts.
We hope you check us out and enjoy the rest of your show. Bye-bye.
What's your favorite scary movie?
They mostly come at night. Mostly.
We were attacked by a lycanthrope, a werewolf.
Your suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
They're here.
Welcome, victims, to the Horr-Gasm podcast. Kill the lights, lock the doors, get comfy, and prepare for the sexiest and scariest podcast around. I'm Nick, and with me is my co-host, Allie.
Rawr.
Rawr, rawr.
Rawr, rawr. Have you ever seen the TikToks of like the creepy guys like growling into it? They think it's like so
No.
hot.
I don't know, that was a thing.
Yeah.
There's like the Austin Powers kind of,
Oh,
purr.
behave.
Oh no, you go rawr. But
It's bizarre. Don't do that.
it's weird.
It's weird. It's like people think it's like, ooh, I'm so sexy. No, it's not. It's it's cringy.
Ooh, ooh,
And that's the
yes.
thing you don't want to be as cringy.
Yes.
Blow. Yeah. Werewolves.
Yes, we're
still
in
talking
the-
about werewolves.
Yep, we're in the last bit of Werewolf Month, and lovely lack of recording on time again. We're fixing it. It's getting better. It's getting better.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We're work in progress. You know, when things change and Miss Rona's still knocking on our doors and stuff, it's just hard. And this is like the busiest time of year for me as well.
Yes,
Till the end
and
of April. So
I've been working nights, which is just
Yes.
hasn't. It's been just almost perfect storm.
Exactly. And
So-
yeah, not living together anymore is just like, because we could usually squeeze in a little bit.
Yeah,
Or even, if we watch the movie separately and then we could quickly record, or something like that. And it's not even like
yep. No, I get that.
life. But that's okay.
But also, we got some. What we're recording now.
Yep.
We're gonna do another one after this. Gonna finish off the good old Werewolf
Werewolf
Month.
month. I'm kind of over Werewolf month already.
I am too,
Yeah.
but we got one more to go through. So we'll
Totally.
suck it up and watch it. And and also, Will, for Talking Chop, we got some new horror movies coming out. I got some news.
Woo. I'm ready.
So the Jeepers Creepers franchise.
Yes.
It has changed hands. The guy who owned it, he sold it off. And there is now another movie coming out, kind of like, it's going to be like a reboot / prequel, I think. Mm-hmm. It's going to be out this year, 2021, later on. And I'm excited for that one.
Yes. We love Jeepers Creepers. We're a Jeepers
Yes.
Creepers household.
Totally.
You showed me the first one with like Justin Long.
Yep.
And it was amazing. It was really good and so creepy.
Very much.
The second one was pretty good again. It's that like claustrophobia. I always think that's the one where they're on the bus, right?
Yes.
Yes, that one was creepy too.
And they really expanded the mythos.
Yes.
They really, in the first they say, he comes after every 23rd year, 23rd day for 23 days. He feeds. Mm-hmm. And they're like, who, what, where, why, when? Why does he have a big truck?
Yes.
Why does he fly? Why does he have wings? Is he a bat from hell?
Yeah.
Which I like. That's a cool idea.
That's very cool.
And then the sequel kind of explain it more. Oh yeah, he's got this weird nose. He can smell parts that he needs to.
Right.
Again, great idea. Like it.
Yep.
And he's always been around almost.
Right.
And people were starting to think, well, maybe he's from the Wild West
Right.
era where he makes a deal with some demon and becomes it. I don't know. Like we don't know. We have no clue.
Exactly.
There's a third one that kind of doesn't explain anything. A lot of people are very against the third one. I watched it. I'm like, it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Not the best, but it's not terrible.
Yeah, I loved those movies when we watched them. They were well done. And I think that's also akin to the practical effects.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
I feel like I talk about all the time, and we talk about every episode, which we will definitely be talking about this episode when we get into the movie. But the effects that they did were so fantastic in that movie, and it was scary. Like, I was having this talk with one of my friends where it's like, I get so sick of just jump scares and cheap thrills like that. I want the slow burn. I want those sorts of movies. I want to be, I want a twist. I want a slow burn. I want a little bit of gore. Like, that to me is so much more scary than just like, boo, boo, boo. I don't know. Oh, yeah. And everybody's different, and I get that. But it's just so cheap. Like, it cheapens the movie, I always think.
A bit. Yeah, you're right, it does. It does.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with a jump scare. Like, I love a good jump scare. But a good jump scare.
Yeah. One that's placed perfectly in the movie, not...
Like, there's a lead up.
Every 5-10 minutes.
Exactly.
Jump scare.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. 100%.
Yeah. Like compared to what we watched today, which was the American Werewolf in Paris.
Yep.
The CGI in Jeepers Creepers 1 and 2, and I forget 3, is very, very, very minimal.
Yes, right.
The second one was mostly for the wing.
Yes, right. Which were done good, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, other than that, I don't think they had any CGI in the first one. Maybe a bit of them flying, but I think that could have been just...
Yeah, just suspended.
But
like,
even then, I'm okay with that.
Right.
The CGI is used to make them fly for faraway shots. You know what? Fine.
Yes.
I'm okay with that. It's in the dark. You don't see very much.
Absolutely.
You get the opinion, okay, he's flying around. Got it.
Yes.
Come close. Effects.
Yeah.
Makeup. Love it.
See, and I just think, like, in 1997, when American Werewolf in Paris came out, those effects would be terrifying. That would be scary.
Yep.
It would be intense. But, what are we, 25 years later?
Pretty much.
Doesn't work. And that's the thing, is that even, people are going to be watching The Avengers in 25 years and be like, what were they thinking? This is horrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, whenever you do it, I think it doesn't age as well, regardless of how good it is.
That's true. Yeah.
Because, I think of even when I used to watch you play Super Mario 64 when we were kids, and I was like, these polygons are going to last forever.
Yeah.
These, pixels are my life. And now you see, playing Cyberpunk, it's like, wow, this is a real person. I'm watching a real person
even comparing Mario 64 to the next one up, which was Mario Sunshine.
Yes.
That alone, the look of Mario was so smoothed over and all that.
Like playing Mario Odyssey, it's like, this is a fucking masterpiece.
Mm-hmm.
I
know, even before you came today, I popped in Dead Space because...
Oh, those games are good.
Scary as fuck.
When we get our Twitch thing going, that's the first games we have to play, is that trilogy.
Oh, yes.
It is so creepy.
I hopped on there and I want to get the one, I missed a trophy, the Ping.
Yes.
Ping?
Yep.
Trophy, what it's called. And I'm like, okay, I need to get to chapter 11. Closest one was chapter 9, or restart. I'm like, you know what? Let's jump into chapter 9. And I died instantly.
Yes.
Forgetting how to play the game. And they got everything so right because it's dark.
Yep.
It's similar to Alien Isolation, where it's always dark, and you hear it before you see it.
Exactly.
You know it's around, but where is it?
And I found in the second one, it starts to get a bit monotonous because it's always coming out, like the necromorphs, what are they called?
Yeah, necromorphs.
They always come out of the same spots, like the same vents they always come out of, so you can almost predict it.
Yeah.
But there's still some that scare the fuck out of me, like the kids, the babies and the kids in that game. I have had nightmares about them. Like, it is so creepy.
Yeah,
Something about kids.
Yeah, they're creepy.
Ugh. Even when they're not zombie mutant aliens.
One thing that I think I said before, but with Doom 3 when it first came out, again, they went right to the horror element. It was always dark.
Yep.
And you had a choice of either flashlight or weapon, never both. The consoles added them both. They kind of changed it so you can have both. But the demons, when they spawn in, was always behind you. Which is kind of, it gets predictable, but as you go into a new room, you hear the spawning sound, and you always go, oh, turn behind me. Oh, look, an imp. Oh, demon. And at first, though, it's always so dark it works, but it becomes monotonous.
Right.
With Dead Space, it's not always behind you. It's you see him coming, but there's a lot.
Yes. Yeah, those games are fantastic. Some of the best endings to games ever.
I haven't beat number 2 yet. I got so far, but I did not conserve my ammo, which they say you should do.
Is that the one with Ellie?
Oh, I forget. It's one where the guy talks. You actually see his face.
Like the main character?
Yeah.
Like, what is his name? Not Gordon, that's
Clark.
Half-Life.
Clark?
No.
Isaac.
Yeah, you're right.
Isaac Clark.
Now I want to watch you play those. Nick!
I need to get a it's actually someone is selling one on Facebook Marketplace too. I need a capture card.
Yes, yeah.
Which I don't need. I have a laptop, so
I guarantee we could get that
oh,
somewhere.
I find them on Amazon. They're
For
not
sure.
they're not that expensive. The one for sale in Saskatoon is like $150. I'm like, that's not
easy.
bad. I see to plug in to my laptop.
Yep.
And it comes with, I think, either HDMI or AV.
Right.
And I just kind of do a plug-in around.
Yeah, and then you just plug the the thing into the HDMI into your computer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bingo. And then it records everything I do, and it can stream right.
And then we could just get like a webcam-y thing, right, and point at us.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep. There you go.
We should just do this.
Okay. Let me get the cash, and I'll get the parts, and we'll
Deal.
set up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Look at us making deals online while we're doing this. This is like, a little sneak peek behind the scenes.
As we plan, and I got like a bunch of good horror games. I got
Yes.
Resident Evils on my PS1. Well, I have the collector in me. Gotta have the actual disc. Can't just download it. That's not fair. That doesn't count. But I have all the Resident Evils from 1, 2, and 3. I have 0 for GameCube and PS3, I think, or PS4. I forget. But I have all the Silent Hills 1, 2, and 3. I don't have 2. I have physical number 1, but
Sure.
whatever. That's more of the rougher one.
Speaking of Resident Evil, have you seen or have you played the little thing for 8 yet?
No. No, I need a PS5.
But you can watch everybody play it on YouTube. It's only like 20 minutes. It's so good. It's so good, Nick.
I've been
Vampire
playing 7.
ladies.
The internet
Vampire
just
ladies.
when they showed them, the internet had like a giant collective boner.
Yes. Yes,
There's so much now. Everyone's like, oh, giant vampire lady, yes, please.
like giant, and it's like
snoo.
oh my god, it's like, oh, I'm so excited for it. Resident Evil, like especially the last one, I watched a Let's Player play it on YouTube because your girl's poor and can't afford that. Plus I get a little scared playing games, which is weird because I don't feel scared very often. But playing games by myself, I get scared.
Because you interact, because you're a part of it.
Exactly.
As opposed to sitting and watching, like, yep, okay, watch out behind you, bitch, yeah, you're dead.
Yeah.
As opposed to, okay, I gotta look around this corner.
Yes.
I'm gonna look at, oh, no, yeah, no. Like PT, when that demo was out, I remember I had you over playing through that. And I was playing it, and I was getting scared. It was very, very, very disturbing.
Yes. Man, I wish that would have been a full game.
Yes.
I would have.
It still could happen.
I hope so.
It could still happen because Kojima's still doing some work around there. He ended up becoming, PT became, what's that one with...
Are you thinking of Death Stranding?
Yes, thank you. That's what it kind of became.
Yeah, but it was like his passion project with Death Stranding. That was a boring game.
I heard it was underrated, though. I haven't played it.
You should try it. I think you actually might like it. It's the thing that bugs me is that we're way off topic, but anyways, you guys just tune in to listen to us talk anyways.
That's right.
It is a horror game, so I mean, kind of related.
And it's got Norman Reedus in it.
Yes.
He was going to be in PT.
Exactly.
And
you're
PT,
right.
PT was going to become the new Silent Hill.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
Which I love those games, and the movies weren't bad too.
Yeah. Death Stranding was just literally one big fetch quest. That's all you do the whole game.
That's what I heard.
There's a little bit, there is combat, of course, but it's 90% just fetch quests. Just driving around, trying not to die, and dropping stuff off. Because the game is you're literally a courier. And that's just what you do. And the story is really, really well done. Like, the story is interesting, a little convoluted, but
that's Kojima's.
That's his thing.
Yeah, like Metal Gear Solid.
Everything is like a think piece.
Oh, Metal Gear Solid,
right?
so
It's
good.
all a lovely letter too. I haven't played any Metal Gear Solids. Don't give me those eyes.
Oh, there was wide eyes there. Wide eyes showed up. So good.
Is it? Is that the one with Snake?
Yes.
Okay.
So good. It's again convoluted. Oh my! I'm sold. There's still some parts. I'm like, but why? Oh right, yeah. That's okay. That kind of makes sense.
Okay.
It's just one great, big, good story.
Awesome.
And over like 6-7 games.
Wow. Yeah. I know that there's a lot of games. I know that people love it.
Yeah.
But
It's just story wise, great. Gameplay wise, cool. It's good. It's a gooder.
I should get
what
into
else?
it.
What else I mentioned about? There's a new zombie movie coming out.
Yes.
Army of the Dead. Stars Batista and other people who I didn't look up. But it's got Batista, sweet. And it's
That's like all you need to hear.
I like the guy. The guy's a great actor. He did great on Guardians as Drax.
Drax. Yeah. Drax the
And-
Destroyer.
Yes. And the premise is a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And Batista and his crew, I don't know if he's in charge, but he's in it.
Yep.
They got this great deal. Let's break into Vegas and steal a shit ton of money
Yes.
while avoiding and shooting zombies.
Which
I'm
is
sold.
a good idea,
You
right?
got me. I'm sold right there. Zombies, guns, Vegas, and Batista.
Yes. All of that.
Done. Deal.
Give it to me with a bow and I will accept.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
I'm also like, I miss movies so much. I would give my firstborn to go see a movie. Sorry, Icky. I would give my firstborn to go safely to a movie theater so bad.
Yeah.
So we might have to go if they're open.
Sure.
I don't even know if they're open.
I think they are.
Are
But
they?
also, yeah. I know they've been open for a while.
Okay.
But it's also, it can only take half the capacity. You got to have
Right.
2 or 3 spots between each one.
Yes, right.
Whatever.
Which is fine.
Yep.
Yeah, we should just, when horror movies come out, we should just go.
I'm still waiting for Antlers to come out.
Yes.
Still waiting.
Dear whoever does Antlers, please come out.
Yes.
Love, Alan Nick.
Yes. And there's other ones that are coming out, but they don't have the whole Warner deal where they're going to be out
Yes, sir.
simultaneously on demand.
Yeah,
and
I was going to say an
theaters.
on-demand type thing, which is fine, but it's just there's something magical about going to the theater. And this is, I know I've talked about this probably on the last episode, but it's just going somewhere and like that camaraderie you have in the theater of everybody's getting scared together, it's magical.
Oh, yeah.
And you can't duplicate that when it's just you and I on a couch ripping into the movie.
Nope,
'cause
nope,
that's
it
what
isn't.
we do. Well, that is fun.
Oh, yes.
It's just different, Yeah. But you know what else was different? The movie we watched today.
Yes, it's a bit different from London. It's in Paris.
Yeah, it was. You're ridiculous. Let's get into the movie.
Okay.
All right, so this week we watched An American Werewolf in Paris. It's a 1997 movie. It is directed by Anthony Waller and written by John Landis, Tim Burns, and Tom Stern. And it is the sequel to An American Werewolf in London, which we
Yes.
watched last week.
Yes.
Last week. Feels like forever ago. I guess it was a while ago. Interesting. Yeah, it was good though. Like, it was fine.
It's a good werewolf movie.
Yeah.
I remember, I'll get into the one when we first saw it, but this was planned for a while. It was a very, not long development,
Yep.
but they were working on it for a while, trying to get the script, the director, everything kind of lined up. And
Right.
they kept, having issues.
Which seems to happen a lot with movies, though.
Yeah.
Right? They
Like-
have like a sequel ready and they're like, all right, so excited, let's do this.
Freddy versus Jason.
Yes.
Like, that was...
forever.
Yeah, they finally got her going.
Ugh. Like, but wasn't it the same thing with Alien vs. Predator 2?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
Not
one,
2,
yes.
like
Yeah.
TWO, but like TOO.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like they had it planned in the early 90s when the comics came out late 80s, I believe.
Yes.
Alien vs. Predator. And like, ooh, this looks like a good idea. Let's do that. And they had a script ready to go. But I think just they couldn't get it off the ground. Mm-hmm. That, I think also in effects-wise, I don't think they're right there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
I think same was with, I think Jurassic Park.
Yes.
They wanted to wait a little longer to get effects ready. It went with animatronics anyways. But, yeah.
Oh, it's such a good movie. I love Jurassic Park.
We'll have to add dinosaur horror movies. There's a few.
Is it a horror movie? I always question
Yes.
because I watched it very young.
Yes, because
It is very scary.
When I first watched the first one, definitely. Sequels, not so much.
Yeah, the
But
first
the
one,
first
I think,
one is
yeah.
definitely because of the raptor.
Yes, the raptor in the basement. I will
Yes.
never get over that jump scare. That was a good jump scare. We were just talking about it. Throwback.
Yeah,
That's
was
a
great
good jump scare.
That and the goat leg falling on a roof.
Yes.
That scared the crap out of me. When I first watched it, I'm like, what the fuck? No.
No.
What happened to the goat? And leg, thunk. I'm like, whoa, what?
Wow.
There's the leg. And again, the raptress.
Yes.
When she's going, she's backing away into the cables and raptor pops out. I was like, okay, I'm almost done.
Yes.
I'm almost done. The movie's almost done, but I'm almost done watching this because it scared me.
Jess and I went, and I've seen this movie like multiple times. And Jess and I went beginning of the pandemic when they just opened the movie theaters back up, and we were the only people in the theater, and they were playing old movies.
Yay!
So we got some popcorn, and we sat, and it was just the two of us. I think it was like April, like that's how long ago it was, like almost a year ago. And I have seen this so many times, and I still jumped at both those parts. And like I can talk along with half the movie, but like it still scares the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a good jump scare because it's so quiet and so well led up.
Oh yes. And you
good.
have like her relief. You also feel the same relief. Like, okay, good. Power's on. They can get things going, and then it jumps off behind.
And it's like
there's that. There's the spitter part with Dennis Nedry.
Yeah.
That again scared me too.
Yes.
The T-Rex not so much. Just because you could see the whole time.
Which like you can't really hide a T-Rex.
Yeah.
Kind of big and ominous.
But raptors, the spitter.
Yes, but it's a good contrast, don't you think?
It really is.
Yeah, just because like you have this big menacing dinosaur after you the whole time, but not only that, you also have the little baby dinosaurs that are like and jumping out at you.
Yeah.
So you never have a moment of just like a deep breath almost, right?
That's right.
Oh,
That is right.
such a good movie.
Yeah, that and like I think I talked before, Carnosaur, nowhere near as good as Jurassic Park, but they tried to focus more on the horror as opposed to adventure.
Right.
So those are pretty good
Yeah.
too. But
definitely.
we didn't do Dinosaur Month. This is Werewolf Month.
Right.
And we just watched Werewolf in Paris. Where did you first hear about this movie?
About this time last week when you
Cool.
told me
Nice.
we're watching American Werewolf in Paris. I didn't even know that there was a second one until we were watching the first one.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, second one. And I was like, oh. But I get why they'd make a second one. The first one was so wildly amazing.
And a little bit of spoilers for the movie already, but originally they had a little scene where they explained how we see in the movie there's a group of the werewolf guys.
Yes.
They've got kind of like a group going. And in the original, the werewolf that attacked the two characters at the beginning,
Right.
that guy was part of that group. And they go back, hundreds of years. So there's been werewolves forever.
Do you live longer as a werewolf? Do they ever talk about it in this movie?
I don't think they last long enough.
Okay. Yeah.
If you want to go by Underworld, maybe.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, and every movie's different too and has different
Yes.
rules, but I'm just wondering. But I don't
I
know.
don't
Because
think
you'd
so.
think
I
your
don't
body
think-
would like be horrible after a while, constantly changing and ripping and tearing and all that stuff, hey?
Yeah, I don't think you get the immortality with it. You
No,
just
I don't
get
think
the-
so.
You get the furriness of once a month.
Yeah, right. Ugh. I
And you're
can't-
not, you know, with vampires, you're immortal because you're dead.
Exactly.
Werewolves, you're not dead. You're still
Exactly.
living.
You're still technically alive.
Yeah.
Obviously. And yeah, you're just, I don't know. It's kind of, I think it's like one of the lamer transformations, I guess. Like if I had to choose a monster to be, like it's not really, because it's like once a month. I already get something once a month. It's not nearly as exciting.
Well, I had to ask this guys at work once, and I go, what do you prefer to be, vampire or werewolf? Like, well, they might be werewolf. Why? Well, it's only once a month. Yes, but you lose control.
That's exactly it.
I'd be a vampire because you're in control the whole time. Yes, you can't go out in the sun, but who cares? No sunbirds.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm already like albino, so.
Yeah, and you're controlled the whole time.
Yes, exactly.
So I take vampire over werewolf.
Absolutely.
Any day.
And you can get like a really good night shift job and just like live a half normal life.
Job, like vampire. I'm just gonna steal money. What are they gonna do? Cuff me, put me in jail? I'll turn to a bat and fly away.
Yeah.
Or miss through the bars.
Right.
Like
yeah.
it's again, it all depends on the rules.
I was gonna say depending on the rules, yeah.
Yeah. Like I first heard about this movie though when it first was on like trailers on TV.
Right, because it came out in '97, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember in '96 or whatever, I remember seeing trailers for it. I'm like, ooh, this looks fun. I like werewolves. Young Nick, I'm okay with this.
Yep.
Never saw it in theaters, but when it came to VHS, I rented it right away. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I loved it.
Awesome.
Young Nick I loved the soundtrack. I loved the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Young Nick liked the boobs.
Of course.
It was. I really liked the movie.
Yeah.
The one song, of course, I'm forgetting what it's called right now.
Yeah, the music was good.
Mouth by Bush.
Okay.
That really stuck with me.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a great song, and I really dug it. So I went and found the CD, and I bought it, and I'm like, yay.
Awesome. Yeah, the music was good in it, but I thought some of the songs were weird. When we were talking, some of the
choices for this
some of the choices for scenes for music was bizarre. Like it almost made it feel like a teenage like soap instead of like not even that, but like a Malcolm in the Middle episode, because it's like playing this super upbeat pop punk song while they're like having a chase scene. It was bizarre. And that kind of stuff almost pulls me out of it. And I get that like even the first one was kind of a horror comedy, so I get that they tried to do the same thing in this one, but it just felt weird.
Yeah.
Like it felt forced almost, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah.
Like they were trying so hard to make it funny that it just feels weird. Like very cliche-ish.
I get that.
Yeah.
There's another song they had, which was from, I think, Big Shy Tunes 2.
Yes, it sure was.
And I can't remember what it's
the very
called.
first one.
I can't remember what it's called, but that's okay.
I was going to sing some of it, but I won't.
It wasn't Adrenaline. It wasn't Break the Glass or Psychosis. I forget. I'll have to look up after. But
yeah.
Big Shy Tunes 2, one of the best CDs
Yes,
ever.
agreed, 100%.
Compilation CDs, that thing is the tits.
Yes. Big Shiny Tunes was always really good.
Yeah.
They always did such a good job. That's the one where they like blended each song into each other, right?
No, that was Much Music.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
Yes, it was. Big Shy Tunes had the space.
Oh.
I think it was or it was Just Dance. Just Dance were the ones I blended.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure.
That might be. I don't know. I like the ones where it blended.
Because I know the Night at the Roxbury soundtrack, that was everything was blended together into
Right.
one big song.
So cool.
I love that song. That was a great movie too.
Yes.
And one of the best
we should do
soundtracks
that for
ever.
Fake Horr-Gasm month one year.
Ooh.
'Cause we both love that movie.
That is a great movie. Let's get to the cast.
Oh, right. Sorry. We're so off topic. We haven't seen each other for a couple weeks, so we're just like
It's catch up time
talking.
on the podcast.
Yay!
So, this
you guys
movie-
all get to listen.
Yes, this movie stars Tom Everett Scott as
Yes.
Andy McDermott,
Yes.
Julie Delpy as Seraphine Pijot,
Mm-hmm.
Vince Velouf as Brad, Phil Buckman as Chris.
I love the American names.
Oh yeah, Brad.
Isn't it Andy,
Chris.
Brad, and Chris?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, guys.
Julie Bowen as Amy Finch, Pierre Cosso as Claude, Tom November as Inspector Leduc, Thierry. Oh, okay.
You got this.
Thierry Lermit. That's a
Perfect.
weird last name.
Beautiful.
As Thierry Pijot, and Anthony Waller as Metro Driver. Oh, and Isabel Constantini as Alex Price, credited as Seraphine's mother.
Interesting.
Yes.
That was cool. Yeah, I like that they brought back lots of the original things that they did in the first one.
Well, they connected by having the nurse from the first one.
Right.
She ended up getting pregnant with
Yeah.
the guy, I forget his name now, by the one guy's child.
Yep.
And she's born basically as a werewolf.
Right.
So cool. That's really.
It's a neat plot point. I wish that they would have explored it a little bit more, like gone into it a bit more.
There's a different. The original script was a lot more into it, where Andy he had more of a connection to the main characters and all that.
Yeah.
They went through a lot of rewrites, but I like what they ended up with.
Yeah. Yeah.
Although I will say that Tom Everett Scott was not the right not the right
Choice.
Thank
Yeah.
you, as Andy.
Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah, I think they picked him because he's American. He's
Right.
a well-known name.
Yep.
And I think that was it.
Yeah.
This is not the
Yeah.
movie for him. Although I love that they had Vince as Brad.
Yes.
He's from Rat Race.
Yes.
That's the guy with the tongue piercing.
Guy with the tongue piercing.
And Phil Buckman as Chris. He went on to do a few other movies, but he's also right now known as Filter's ex-bass player and Fuel's current bass player. Major thumbs up for that, because I love Fuel.
Music.
And I love Filter back in the day. So, and he's had a good career. Vince, not so much, but whatever. Tom Everett Scott, he's always known as the more rom-com kind of king.
Yeah, I was going through his IMDb, and it's all rom-coms. Christmas movies now, too, because that's where, like, horror movie
actors go to die.
Yeah. And make money as Hallmark movies.
Yeah. And you had Julie Delpy as Seraphine. I didn't really look too much into her.
Yeah, she's done a few things. She does more. She does a lot of French films.
Yes,
and
she's French herself.
yeah, and lots of dramas. She mostly does dramas.
It's sad though when she talks nowadays about this movie. She did it only for the paycheck for rent.
Yep.
Fair enough. That's
You
a
know-
little sad because it's not a bad movie.
No, it's
I wish
not
you had a little
bad.
more pride in this, even
Yeah.
though it was a big flop. Although it's gained like a good cult following.
For sure. Like, it's not a bad movie. It's, I don't know. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't mind it. Like, it was fun. It was entertaining. The humor was good.
Yep.
The humor was funny.
Yes.
But
I like the effects. You're not a
Yeah.
big fan of the CGI. I looking at it now, it's very dated.
yes, it's
But
the problem is that the hardest thing to do with CGI always is hair. Well,
Yes.
what's a werewolf?
he's kind of fuzzy.
It's a little fuzzy.
A little fuzzy.
So
But
it's
the
all
one scene,
hair.
I think the one scene where he jumps out of the fountain, that must
That
have
was cool.
cost a lot of money just for that one scene.
Absolutely.
Because I think that was the best
Yep.
effect. One of
I
the best
agree.
effects. That's and when you see it, the werewolf walking in the sewers, in the catacombs, and you see him upright.
Right.
And then he goes from upright to jog to all fours, run. I'm like, and I always love that scene
Yes.
because it looks very, very unnatural.
Yes.
And for a horror movie, that's what you want. You want something that'll kind of spook you out and kind of give you a, that looks weird. That was a great effect. A lot of, I would call them jump scares. There's a few jump scares in this, but a lot of kind of, I guess they are jump scares, where the werewolf jumps out of a dark hole. One of the other scenes is where you got the two detectives trying to get a light going, and every flash you see a werewolf in the background, he gets closer.
That was cool.
Closer, and then jumps.
You know what it reminded me of? That movie we watched with the little boy that was the devil, or the devil's son, or
Oh,
whatever.
yes.
Remember, there was a scene in that where they did that, where he was doing
Yeah.
exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
That was really creepy. That kind of stuff is creepier, I think.
I agree. I like
Right?
those effects, those scenes. Always a big hit for me. Those are a
Yes.
big thumbs up, and I appreciate every time you do that. 'Cause that's
Definitely.
a great. Even for one horror script that I have running around my head, I have something similar.
Yes.
Which woman's she's all over my makeup. She's in the mirror and she got the flashlight. And it kind of flickers a bit, and she's looking down trying to fix it. And the audience can see it, she can't. And of course, something gets closer and closer, and it's right behind her.
Of course.
And it gets her. And it's just one of my favorite scenes ever.
So neat.
Filmed. It's so good.
Love it. Love it so much.
And also, like from the previous, they kept the theme. They'll if you get killed by a werewolf, you become
Like a undead hallucination
a
almost.
ghost.
Yeah,
We won't say
right.
ghost, and they're stuck until that werewolf dies.
And only werewolves can see you.
Yes, those who are cursed
Yes.
see them,
Right.
and you can't pass on until that werewolf is killed,
Right.
which they work quite well in this movie.
Yeah, this one is good.
And they even throw in a cure.
Yeah.
They throw in a cure, not like, because the director, I think, or writer said, it's always a side ending to werewolf. You can't,
Right.
There's no cure. The cure is death.
Yep.
With
Right.
this, there's a cure, but it's a very tough one. You got to find the werewolf who killed you.
Yep.
You got to kill him and then immediately eat his hurt.
Yes.
Now, if werewolf gets shot or gets killed before that, you're stuck.
Yeah.
So I guess in the original, the werewolf who bit and cursed the one guy gets shot right away. So he
Right.
can't. He's already screwed. He's stuck as a werewolf.
Yep. Exactly.
So I like that. You got to find the guy, and it can be tough because who knows what the werewolf looked like as a human.
Exactly.
You're not gonna go up and say, "Oh, by the way, I bit you. I'm your guy who sired you."
Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
So-
But should we get into the plot?
I think so.
Yay.
So, Andy McDermott is a tourist seeing the sights of Paris with his brothers. They're buddies, come on.
Yeah.
With his I'm throwing quotation, brothers.
Brothers, okay,
Brad
cool,
and
cool,
Chris.
cool.
I'm pretty sure they're not brothers because
I don't
they
think
look
they're brothers.
way too different.
Yeah.
When Seraphine Pijot leaps off the Eiffel Tower just before Andy is about to bungee jump, he executes a mid-air rescue.
Woo.
She vanishes into the night, leaving Andy intrigued and horny. He's hot for her ever since then.
Yeah,
it's weird.
yeah.
Unaware that she is the daughter of David Kessler and Alex Price
There you
from
go.
the
First
original
one.
movies.
Yeah.
That night, Andy, Chris, and Brad attend a nightclub called Club de la Lune. Mm-hmm. They skipped a lot on this. Wikipedia. So he eventually after he saves her,
Yep.
he jumped off the tower. He crashed into like a steel beam.
Yes, on the Eiffel
Like,
Tower on his way
Yeah,
from
and
bungee.
This is like almost Werewolf the concussion movie because he gets
Yes.
smacked in the head way too many times.
over and over.
Yeah. So he's in the hospital and he's trying to get his buddies to go find her.
Yep.
Because he got her shoe and he's like, oh, she left a note. Mm-hmm. And we find out basically she commits suicide.
Right.
Her suicide note. And he sees her in the hospital. He tries to track her down. She's got like a bag of blood or something
A
with
heart.
her. A heart. Mm-hmm. And he gets knocked down. They find a note and they find where she lives. So they go and he tries to get her to go out with him. And she agrees.
Yep.
After him, basically, it's a pity date.
Yes, exactly.
And I saved your life. You owe me a date. Fine. So they go and
to a cafe.
yeah, and his buddies are having this whole point system through their trip to Paris
Yes.
of getting laid.
Yeah.
Like 20 points get a number, 10 points to
Yeah.
get a wink to where to wink at you.
Yes.
100 points if you bang her.
Yeah.
And this is like a very bad date. It's bad.
Oh,
Like,
it's so
They
cringy.
throw condoms in his pocket and like a note of 100 points if you bang her, and
Yeah.
and she's not dumb.
No.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And she's explains, oh, my parents are dead, and he kind of coughs a bit, and
Yeah.
he goes
Spits his coffee all
he
over.
goes to kind of clean it up, and there's a note on the bottom, and also
Yeah.
condoms pop out of the pocket. And
so
she's like,
bad.
she catches on, this is for you're trying to get points with your buddies there.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, it's gum. It's gum. And she's like, really? Well, in Paris, if a guy blows a big bubble to it shows how much he cares for the girl.
Yeah, the bigger the bubble, the bigger the caring.
Yes, and he's blowing this huge balloon of condom bubble, and it spuds out into some soup. And she kind of had enough. She goes to leave, and he's trying to stop her.
Yeah.
And the guy it's some guy who's the condom in the soup. Starts to fight him, and she pushes him off, and she takes off and tells him, just get away from me, I'm dangerous.
Yeah.
And he ends up going back to her place to apologize.
And
meets up with
Cloud is there.
With Cloud.
Yeah.
And there's Americans. I love Americans. There's a big party. Come to the party. We're like, okay. So go to the party, and basically the one Chris, he takes off to go find Seraphine.
Right.
Because she's not there.
Yeah.
And
Andy was gonna go, but he's like, nah, stay here in case she actually is here, and I'll go look at the house for you.
Yeah. So the club's owner, Claude, is actually the leader of a werewolf society that uses the club as a way to lure in people, preferably tourists, to be killed and eaten. Chris finds Seraphine locked up in her basement because of the full moon.
Yep.
And she's like, where are your buddies? He's like, oh, they're at this club, De La Boone. Your buddy Claude invited them. It's like, oh, they're in danger. And she ends up knocking him out, throwing him into the cage.
Yeah.
And she goes to save Andy.
Save.
So Seraphine arrives, tells Andy to run away, and transforms into a werewolf.
Yes.
The club owners transform into werewolves as well and butcher all the guests. The bouncer, he's not a werewolf, he's human.
Right.
But they use him. He's kind of like their buddy.
Yeah.
And he blocks the door, and people are trying to get out. And
Yeah.
a funny scene, no, VIPs only. It's a funny scene.
Yes. And a guy breaks through the glass of the door and tries to grab him. And he grabs the hand. And as he grabs the hand and tries to go to pull it away, the whole arm comes with him.
Yeah, the werewolf.
Yeah. And you're just like,
ooh. Chris escapes and goes back to, that's where to put this. Brad is killed by a werewolf. And Andy is bitten by another werewolf when he tries to escape.
Right.
And here you got the the CGI transformation scenes. You see Seraphine transform. And it's a great. I like the effects when it in '97. Like, this is great. This is really cool. You see the walking up werewolf go to all fours, who bites
That's
Andy.
cool. Yeah.
And poor Brad gets, he gets mauled pretty good. His body kind of goes into the drink.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I think he goes into the Seine or whatever, the Seine River, and they pull him out the next day while Andy's standing there, and it's like you can't even. I didn't even know it was him, but I was like, oh, plaid shirt, that's Brad.
And Andy he escapes up his pipe, but he gets bitten on the leg.
Yes.
And he gets away.
Yeah.
Barely. The next day, Andy wakes up in Seraphine's house in her bed.
Ow.
Seraphine, you see her blending. Oh, also, I forgot to say, Chris. He escapes the cell.
Yeah.
And sees there's some guy who transformed into a werewolf in the basement with his legs
he
cut
hears
off.
the growling and he goes to check it out.
Yeah, he escapes and he gets the hell out of there. He's like, what the heck? And when Andy wakes up, he's trying to he sees Seraphine blending two hearts in a blender.
Yes.
Tries to tell him to get out. Because she's crazy. There's a beast in the basement locked up. Get out of there. He's like, you're crazy, whatever.
Yeah.
And Seraphine shows up and basically comes up in with a glass full of bloody heart.
Yes. And she's like, you should drink this. And he's like,
you'll
you
feel
know
better.
what? I'm actually good. And so then she crawls on top of him and takes her top off and puts his hands on her boobs. And she's like, are you more comfortable now? This makes you feel more comfortable, right? And he's like,
I feel better. So she blends organs. And while he was still in shock, Seraphine allows him to feel her breast to calm him down.
Good.
She tells him he's transforming into a werewolf. This is interrupted by the sudden appearance of the ghost of Seraphine's mother, Alex. And she's trying to hide him from her from him. He's like, but you said your parents died. And he looks up and she sees a very dead.
Very dead.
Very
decomposed.
Alex.
Yeah. Ugh.
And he jumps out the window in sheer panic and begins running away. Chris tries to get his attention, but Claude grabs him and holds his hand over his mouth and takes him to the basement. No, he does. He takes him somewhere else. Stupid Wikipedia. Soon, Brad's ghost appears to Andy and explains Andy's werewolf condition. He does that when, basically, he's going through the transformation, he can hear better.
Yes.
He's craving blood and meat, so he's at this restaurant eating all these rare steaks. And he meets up this girl,
Yes, Amy, yeah. And she's wearing like an animal print skirt, and he's like, oh, you know, like it awakens something in him when he sees it, and he goes up to her, and they're both Americans, so you know, it's weird.
He meets Brad. And Brad explains the whole, you know, I'm like this because a werewolf killed me. You gotta find the werewolf. He thinks it was, what's her name, Seraphine.
Yes, exactly.
And he's like, you gotta kill the werewolf. Mm-hmm. And he explains the whole situation where Brad Ghost appears to Andy, explains Andy's werewolf condition.
Yes.
For Andy to become normal again, he must eat the heart of the werewolf that bit him.
Right.
And for Brad's soul to be at rest, the werewolf that killed him must be killed too. Mm-hmm. After an update for raw meat, Andy hooks up with an American tourist named Amy. But he transforms and kills her.
Yes.
As they're trying to make you do it on
a grave.
I forget whose. It's a well-known singer. I forget his name now. Shoot.
Right.
But whatever.
But they have candles and stuff, and then
Morrison's.
Yes.
Yeah. They're on Morrison's grave. They're hooking up.
And then they go to, so then he rips her apart, and the police officer that's been following him is also there. So then he rips him apart and kills his dog. Yes. It's rude.
The police officer's following him because Andy walks over back to the site of where he got here.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he sees his buddy, and the police are trying to talk to him, and they let him go.
Yep.
And they find out, just watch him. He's part of this. We don't know what, though.
Yes.
And he dies.
Womp womp.
Andy is arrested but escapes. He begins to see Amy's ghost as well, and she begins trying to kill him.
Yeah, she's actively trying to kill him.
There's, they're going to walk onto the street, and she kind of distracts them. And Brad pulls him, but he gets him out of the way.
Yep.
Before the bus hits her. He's like, man, what are you doing? I'm trying to, free myself. And Brad's like, I need him first to help me.
Yes. Yeah, he's my friend.
Yeah. And he tells him, too, don't go out. Lock yourself up.
Exactly.
He didn't listen.
Nope. He sure did not.
Claude and his henchmen ask Andy to join their society, but to prove his loyalty, Andy must kill Chris.
Yes.
Seraphine rescues Andy again, explaining that her stepfather prepared a drug to control werewolf transformations.
Yes.
However, the drug forces werewolves to immediately transform into their beast form. Mm-hmm. As a result, she killed her mother and savaged her stepfather.
Yes.
Ended up amputating his 2 legs.
Exactly. Yeah.
Claude and the other werewolves raid Seraphine's stepfather's lab and kill him, taking the drug to transform immediately. Mm-hmm. And she explains how, the lunar cycle.
Yes.
He thought that like a downer.
A depressant would have helped keep her underneath the transformation.
In the human levels, not the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which it had the opposite effect, actually.
Bingo. Seraphine and Andy learn of a 4th of July party Claude has planned and infiltrate it. They help the partygoers escape, kind of, after being arrested. And Andy manages to... Wow, they just jump. This is stupid. Basically, the police arrive. Yep. A fight ensues.
Yep.
The werewolf guys, they inject themselves and transform.
They have like big Jedi robes on, and they look real menacing.
Yes, they're like with the apostles, but like the
like they're just like brown
followers.
big robes, with hoods.
Andy and Seraphine manage to kill many werewolves, but Seraphine shifting to her beast form to fight when she runs out of ammunition. Mm-hmm. During a fight between Seraphine and a werewolf, Andy shoots one of the werewolves, but it turns out that he shot Seraphine instead.
Right.
You suck. As she reverts to her human form, she begs him to kill her, but he is unable to, and authorities who arrive on the scene assume that he is trying to kill her before escaping.
Exactly.
And she's kind of making it sound like, I'm the one who bit you.
Exactly.
Kill me, we'll free us both. Mm-hmm. Eat my heart. He's like, I can't.
Yeah, he's like,
this
girl.
is where I'm not a fan of his acting.
Okay.
I'm really not. Like, Tom Everett, his acting just sucks here.
Yeah. It
he
feels rom-com-y.
He plays it too aloof.
Yes.
And even like I told the beginning of this movie, it feels like a very weird rom-com.
It does.
Just the way it's
like the first
played out.
20 minutes are just bizarre.
Yeah. They shouldn't have. Tom was not the right guy for this.
No.
Like, this is bad.
Not a good one.
So
Okay.
back. I'm just gonna skip some parts because it's kind of they jump ahead, they explain
Totally.
stuff, and then they don't explain after.
Right.
Claude makes his way onto a subway train
Mm-hmm.
after kind of he chases. He kind of chases Andy through the catacombs, which I
Right.
love.
That is a cool thing.
I would love just a bunch of catacombs under my house to go here and there.
Wouldn't that be cool? Next time I go to Paris, I'm definitely doing a catacomb tour.
Me too.
Because I never got to do it, and because I went there when I was like younger.
Yeah.
And it's like really messed up. So I don't know. I just, I'd really like to go. I think it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, definitely. Like As Above, So Below, which we'll do in the future.
Yeah. Oh, it's so
good.
creepy. That's one of the creepiest movies I've watched in a while.
So Claude makes his way to the subway train, but he slips onto the tracks. A train slams into him, causing him to transform back to I swear, this is hard. Him and Andy, they fall into the tracks.
Yes.
Train's coming. Train hits Claude.
Yeah.
But he doesn't die. He jumps through the front, eats the conductor, and is going basically through the passengers, gets the lady, and train stops.
Yes, train stops.
Train stops, and he transforms back to human.
Exactly.
Andy shows up, and they start fighting. And as they fight, Andy discovers that Claude is the werewolf that bit him.
Yes.
Because of a scar on his left shoulder when Andy stabbed the werewolf with a spear. Like
yes,
a
like
piece
a
of
gate.
The gate, yes, the gate top. Claude tries to transform again, but Andy knocks it away and ends up...
transforming himself.
Andy tries to inject himself with the drug, but this is what it reads. I'm going to read what this says. I'm going to tell you what really happens.
Okay.
Claude tries to inject himself with the drug, but accidentally injects Andy instead. No. They're fighting over the injection. Andy grabs it and kind of puts it into himself as Claude falls on top of him.
Exactly.
Whoever wrote this, fuck you.
And then chases him.
Yes.
Yeah. Ugh.
So Andy transforms into a werewolf, kills Claude, and eats his heart and howls,
Yes.
breaking the werewolf curse. He got that right.
Yay.
Seraphine is taken in an ambulance, but she begins to show signs of transforming. The EMT, thinking she is going to induce shock, administers adrenaline, which stops the transformation.
Which is an upper, yeah.
Yeah, and you called it.
Yep.
You called it right off the bat.
I know my drugs.
As soon as she's saying, you gave me a downer, to try and control it, and they're like, well, fuck, give her an upper instead.
Exactly.
And I'm like, really?
I should be a doctor. I'll take my MD now. Thank you very much.
The sedative, which was thought to be the cure, actually triggered her to change, and adrenaline has the opposite effect. Mm-hmm. Whatever. Also, in the church where they're having the second party, we see Chris crucified.
Yeah. Oh.
But he escapes.
Yeah.
He breaks free. And he runs out.
He's good.
Yeah. Ultimately, Seraphine and Andy celebrate their wedding atop the Statue of Liberty with Andy's pal Chris. I thought they were brothers. Now he's his pal. Again, whoever wrote this, fuck you. Who survived?
No.
The couple seem to be controlling the curse with a steady application of adrenaline-fueled activities.
Yes.
As they bungee jump off the statue. The end.
The end.
The end.
Yay. So, okay. So is Andy not a werewolf anymore because he ate Claude's heart?
Yes.
So then what about Seraphine?
She's born a werewolf.
So she's just stuck, right?
Yeah, she's stuck. But they have now a cure to keep her transformations under control.
Fuck yeah.
That's
the ultimate love story.
There you go.
And that was an American Werewolf in Paris. Woo!
Yeah.
So what would you rate this?
Ooh, you know what? I give this a 3.5. 3.5 to 4. Music-wise, gets a good jump. I like the... I know you're not a fan, but I didn't mind the CGI transformations because they work. They work for the time.
Right.
And some of the effects were CGI, others were not, and they were great.
Perfect.
They took a little change from the original look of
Yep.
the first werewolf in London,
Right.
but I like they're both bipedal and on all fours.
Yep.
That works for me. I like it. It's the plot's a little goofy.
Yeah.
The acting could have been a lot better. I have no problem with Brad and Chris. Those guys were great.
Yeah, they were really good.
Great
Yeah.
in their role.
They played like the doofy pals really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. The girl played Seraphine. Great.
Really good. Yeah.
Very well done. Claude was great. He was kind of a very kind of douchey.
Menacing, yeah.
Very menacing. Tom's out. He was the goofy. I don't know why they hired him. That was the one that's kind of.
Yeah, and when you're the main character, like,
Stick to rom-coms, Tom. This is not for you.
I'd probably give it a 2 or 2.5. Like, it's not. I thought some of the music. I like the music. I think it was wrong for the movie. I wasn't a big into the CGI. Not my fave, but like it was still enjoyable.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't like go out and rush out and watch it again, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the effects for like the makeup for
Yes.
the attacked people
Yep.
are great.
Really good.
It's all slashed up. It looks awesome.
Yeah, those effects are always good.
When Amy's trying to whistle to get the werewolves who are chasing Andy, she whistles once and blood spurts out of her cheek.
Yep.
Tries again by plugging up the hole. Her eye pops out. Goofy, but it works.
It works. See, and that's the kind of goof I like. Like, I like that kind of like,
Yeah.
gory goofs. You know, that fits more into the horror comedy genre than like, I don't know, some of the other stuff that they did.
And how when she's explaining how he tore through her toned body like like veal.
Yes. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But yeah, it was good. How about Kill the Flick?
Ichabod's Kill the Flick, I think, when she was watching it and not sleeping, she thinks Amy's death got Kill the Flick. Because that one you kind of see.
Definitely.
Everything else is either off screen or nothing too shown. You see the after effects.
Exactly.
But for her, you see Andy chase her down.
Right.
You see him biting her.
Yes.
Clawing her.
Yeah, it's one of the only deaths that we see really happen.
Yeah.
And, like, it was well done. And then her body afterwards when she's chasing Andy around was still cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is interesting. I love how they do that. And every time they come back, they're more decomposed and stuff. It's really neat.
It wasn't
really
as
like how
much
they do
as the
that.
first
Not
one.
as much. You're right. You're right.
The only one who's really decomposed is Alex, Seraphine's mom.
Yeah, her, yes. And, but his, Brad, also, each time he showed up was a little bit more as well.
Really? I missed that. I didn't see that.
The first time he shows up, he's just got slashed.
Yeah.
And then the
Oh,
second
that's
time,
right. Yeah,
he's
that's
starting to, his skin's starting to fall off
That's
and stuff.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool. I like how they did that. Like,
Yeah.
why couldn't they have just done those effects all the way through?
I don't know.
But I think because there's more werewolves, it's probably harder to practical effect all of them and have them all move well.
That's yeah.
Yeah, you kind of, and
there's
that's
a
the
lot
thing
more-
where it's like I'm understanding because of the time. You kind of have to pick and choose.
Yeah.
But
With the original, there wasn't much attacks. And
Right,
it was
you're
always
right.
dark and black.
Yeah,
You don't see much.
right.
With this one, it's a lot more lit, a lot more action. You can't. It would look too guy in a suit.
It would. It would. You're right. Yeah.
So you'd have to. The CGI helped with that.
Right.
And it's obvious CGI, but it wasn't cheap CGI.
Right.
Like when he jumps out of the fountain and shakes the water of his hair. That looked amazing.
That was cool, yeah.
For the time, that was pretty fucking good. Transformation, pretty good. When they got shot and all that, and the fighting, again, it's not the best looking, but
Right.
it works.
Yeah, I think just because it's my first time viewing it, it just took me out of it a little bit, just because it immediately dates the movie.
It does.
That's all.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, yeah, it
like,
does.
it would be very nostalgic if I had seen it in the 90s, and like I said, I'm sure it would have been terrifying then, but it just,
Oh yeah,
that's how it is.
but I enjoyed this.
Yeah, yeah, it was a fun watch. It was still a fun movie, for sure, yeah.
For me, it's nostalgic just for
course.
growing up watching
Absolutely.
it. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yay! That was an American Werewolf in Paris.
yep.
And next week, in quotations, because we're watching it right after this, We are watching, I forget what it's called, Wolfman?
Wolf Cop.
Wolf Cop.
Now,
yes.
I originally going to do The Howling.
Yeah.
But since I don't have the movie on me at the time, I got to find that movie. I found this was on Amazon.
Yes.
And I chose this one because it's filmed really close to home.
Yep.
It's another Canadian werewolf movie. Mm-hmm. Filmed in Moose Jaw and Regina.
Awesome.
And it's goofy.
I'm ready. I need another goofy one.
It's a good
I'm really
goofy
enjoying
werewolf.
the goofy movies.
Yeah. We'll get more into serious down the road with The Howling.
Totally.
And there's a bunch of those too. Might do a bunch back to back. But Wolf Cop was, when I first saw it it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's scary, but goofy.
That's perfect. Most of these have been pretty goofy. I think except Ginger Snaps, the American Werewolf series has been goofy. So and that's good. Who cares? We can fuck with some horror comedies. We love that.
That's right.
But thank you so much for joining us. This episode was brought to you by our executive producer, Ichabod. We hope you enjoyed your Horr-Gasm as much as we did. Please don't forget to rate, download, and subscribe. Also, like and follow us on Facebook at Horr-Gasm Podcast, Instagram at Horr-Gasm, Twitter at Gasm Horror, and YouTube at the Horr-Gasm Podcast. If you have a movie you'd like us to review, this is the best way to let us know. We hope to see you again next week because we have such sights to show you. Plenty of Horr-Gasms for you to experience. Bye!
See ya.